Mr. Gibbs, brought you some company.
So what?
Okay, Roger, we're gonna get in bed.
No, nurse, my knee's fine now. I'm all better.
Your knee is not all better. Now, don't be a big Roger.
I'm not being a baby mama, really. I don't need an operation anymore. It's like a miracle, like that town in France where you go in on crutches, then you come out doing the hustle. What's that town called?
Lourdes.
Thank you.
Now shut up.
Why don't you help me get him into bed, Mrs. Thomas?
I certainly will.
Mom. Well, look, I'm really fine now. I don't need any help getting to bed because I'm all better. My knee is all better.
All right, if you say your knee is all better, it's all better.
It is.
Okay, jump up and let's go home.
Right.
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on.
I'm coming.
Well,
Nothing to it but to do it. See?
mm-hmm.
Oh! See, I told you I didn't need any help getting into bed.
Just get under the cover.
How are you feeling, Mr. Gibbs? Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Would you like anything?
Yes, I'd like to be left alone.
Well, I'd like for you to meet your new roommate. Mr. Johnny Gibbs, this is Roger Thomas.
Hi. I'm fine, thank you.
Why'd you take away old man Grayson? We got along real well. He never said anything. He never talked to me. He never made any noise at all.
He was in a coma.
Well, I like that. Get him back here. Hey, I told you 1,000 times, don't touch my radio.
Hey, nurse, are they gonna hang my leg in the air like that?
Oh, your leg doesn't need that, Roger. He's got a broken hip and you've got water on the knee.
I tried to tell him he has nothing to worry about.
He might not even need an operation.
No?
No. Sometimes they simply go in and drain the water out without even cutting.
No kidding.
No kidding.
All right, how do they do that?
With a long needle.
Needle?
They simply insert the needle. Roger! Roger! It's harmless. You're gonna hurt yourself. It won't hurt, believe me.
You heard what the nurse said? Look, I gotta go now. You have nothing to worry about. Hey, you're a grown man now, so stop acting like a baby.
You're right, Mama. You're absolutely right. I am a grown man now, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye, Roger. Roger.
Okay. Okay, Mama.
Goodbye, Mrs. Thomas. Don't worry, he'll be just fine.
I'm sure he will.
All right, now, if you need me, you just push this buzzer.
Okay, and if you need me, I'll be right here. That's a nice radio. What kind is it? What are you listening to?
To the pest in the next day. Will you shut up?
Hey. Here you go, Roger. I brought you a little fruit.
Oh, thanks, Rerun.
He ate most of it on the way over here. Well, I was worried about you. And you know I always eat when I get nervous. Yeah, check out his bundle of nerves.
How's your dumb knee?
Still the same. They won't operate on it until tomorrow morning.
Operation? Oh, no. What are you worried about? They're operating on him, not you. I'm talking about getting undressed. They take your clothes off. And you see those nurses strap you down to the table, and you're unconscious. And when you wake up, you have to look at all those nurses, and you know they saw you naked because they're all giggling. Huh?
Grow up.
Will you kids be quiet?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Gibbs.
Who gets the cheeseburger?
You got one with onions on it?
Wait a minute now.
Yeah, I got mine.
Well, just
Quiet.
wait.
Quiet! Quiet! Just get out, period.
Hey, mister, want a burger? Everything's on it?
No, I don't want a burger.
Well, I do. Hey, this is really good. You sure you don't want it?
Will you get out of here? Just get out.
Will you get
I want you all out of my sight.
What are you yelling at? Don't you know there's sick people here?
What?
What's wrong with your leg anyway?
There's nothing wrong with my leg.
Well, then this hospital is sure playing you for a fool. Because they got it stuffed in a cast and hanging in the air.
It so happens, little big mouth, it's my hip that's broken, not my leg. Now, are you satisfied?
It's okay with me.
Excuse me, these just came.
Oh, thanks. Look what I got.
These are for Mr. Gibbs.
If they're from my daughter, throw them out.
They're not from your daughter. They're from another admiring fan.
All right, put them down.
Admiring fan?
I know who he is.
Roger, would you like some dinner?
No, I'll just have my cheeseburger, thank you.
Okay.
Why don't you all go with her so I can get some rest? This is a hospital, not a parade.
Parade?
Yeah, parade. Aren't you one of the floats?
Don't worry about that operation. Look, I had water on it even once. Ain't nothing to it.
Did they make you take your clothes off, Shirley?
No, they did not make me take my clothes off. That was smart.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I don't want to see any of you. Get out of my sight.
Did that do it?
It's dinner time. I'm going to give you all 30 seconds before I call the nurse.
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Gibbs,
Gibbs, just get out of here. Why you
20 seconds, I'm counting.
Come on, please.
15,
Oh, come on,
14.
Mr. Gibbs, give me a break.
Nobody ever gave me a break. 5,
Oh, I don't...
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Gibbs, can I help you?
Yes, you can help me. It's dinner time and I want them out.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go. Those are the rules.
Okay, okay. Well, look here. We'll see you tomorrow, Rob.
All right.
And don't worry.
Okay.
You take care, all right?
Yeah, take care,
see you later, Raj.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow after the operation, Raj.
Okay.
And don't worry, they won't hurt you.
Thanks, D.
They got all kinds of needles to kill the pain.
Needles?
Yeah, needles? Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I hope you feel better. I said goodbye. Be polite to a person.
Goodbye.
That's better.
Watch it! What?
Sorry. It's all right. It's not broke, Mr. Gibbs. My operation was a success.
Operation. All they did was take a little needle, stick it in your knee to drain some water. That's nothing.
You had it done?
And lots more. Stitches, muscles pulled, ripped tendons, had it all. What are you still hanging around for?
I'm waiting for my mama to come and get me.
Is your sister coming too?
Maybe, but I won't let her bother you.
Well, who says she bothers me? And who said you're in charge of who bothers me?
I'm sorry.
All right, Roger. You're all signed out.
Hey.
How are you feeling?
Oh, terrific, Mama. Watch this. See? Nothing to it.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, goodbye.
In you go, Roger.
Okay.
Grab Roger's bag, Dee.
Okay.
That's right.
You think I'm pretty mean, don't you?
Yeah, I think you're pretty mean.
But I don't scare you, do I?
Nobody that can't run scares me.
Well, I'll tell you, young lady, when I was running, there was nobody in the world that could run any better.
What were you running from?
From first base and sliding into second, spikes flying.
You weren't a baseball player.
I don't want to talk about it.
You were the one who brought it up.
Go on, your brother's waiting for you.
Were you really a baseball player?
One of the best, Dee. It was Dee, wasn't it?
It still is.
Well, I'm glad to meet you, Dee. You can call me Spike.
Spike?
That's the name thousands of kids used to call me, including one who looked and talked just like you.
Who was that?
My daughter, Elizabeth. She was the only one besides you who could stand up to me.
You're not so tough.
You don't think so, huh?
Nope. Does your daughter live around here?
Yeah, she lives around here. She sells cosmetics door to door in East Los Angeles, I think.
You think? Don't you know what your own daughter does?
Well, I haven't spoken to her in over 12 years.
Why not?
You wouldn't.
Why not?
Because she married a white man.
Which one?
What?
Which white man did she marry that made you so mad?
Duncan. Burton Duncan's his name.
Never heard of him. What did he do so bad?
He married my daughter is what he did. That's bad enough.
You're not speaking to your daughter just because she married a white man?
That's right.
Why?
Why? Why? Because that kind of marriage never works. That's why. Your father tell you that. When you get home, you ask him.
My father doesn't live in that house. My folks are divorced and they're both black.
Dee, come on.
Okay. I'll see you later, Spike. And try not to be so mad so much. That's how come you lost your hair.
All right, goodbye. Goodbye.
Are you sure our insurance will cover all this?
It has all been taken care of.
Okay, thank you. Dee, what took you so long?
I was saying goodbye to Mr. Gibbs. Nurse, when is he gonna leave here?
I really don't know.
Well, don't you know how long it takes to fix a broken hip?
Sure I do.
Then you mean it's more than just his hip?
I'm afraid so.
Come on, I better be getting you home.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Dee, come on.
Are you sure you played baseball?
That's what Dee said. But if he played in the major leagues, he should be listed in this book, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe we missed it. Let's go through it again, okay?
All right.
Hi, fellas.
Hi, Mrs. Thomas.
Hi, Mom.
How's your leg, Raj?
Oh, much better.
Hey, that's good. What are you reading?
The baseball encyclopedia. We're trying to find Johnny Gibbs.
I told you it was Spike Gibbs. He played for the Homestead Grays 1928 to 1939. Lifetime batting average of .327, led the league in stolen bases 3 times, and that's how he got his nickname Spike.
Mama, what is she talking about?
Well, while we were shopping, Dee told me all about Spike. So I thought you'd like to read about him, so I got you this from the library.
Oh, wow. The biggest era in baseball.
Turn to page 67.
Hey, here's his picture. Spike Gibbs.
Wow. He stole 120 bases in one season.
Hey, and look at this. Smokey Joe Williams struck out 27 men in one game.
Wow.
Hey, and Josh Gibson had 75 home runs in one season.
Man, that's more than Babe Ruth hit.
How come we never heard of Spike Gibbs and Josh Gibson?
How come? Because Spike Gibbs and all these wonderful players could only play in the Negro Leagues until 1947. That's when Jackie Robinson came along and broke the color barrier. Now, you have heard of him, haven't you?
Oh, yes. He was the greatest.
And so were these men, including Spike Gibbs. But not many people knew about them because they weren't allowed to play in the major leagues.
That's probably why he hates white people.
Dee, what are you talking about?
Well, he doesn't want anything to do with his daughter because she married one.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
Now, listen, baby. Spike may have his reasons for being bitter. But I always say, if you gotta be mad at somebody, it should be for something they did to you, not for the color they're wrapped in. Got it?
Got it.
Good.
Mm-hmm. You know, I bet that's why Spike didn't want any flowers from his daughter.
Raj, I wonder if she knows he's in the hospital.
We ought to find her and tell her he's in the hospital.
How are we gonna find her? We don't know the first thing about her.
I do. Spike told me her name and where she works.
All right, let's call her.
You know Mama doesn't like you sticking your nose into other people's business.
Nobody's gonna tell Mama.
Want to bet?
Dee, what is her name and where do we call her?
Well, it's a 35-cent call.
What is it, long distance?
No, it's a dime for the call and a quarter for the information.
Look, when she gets here, let me do all the talking, all right?
Man, she's gonna be mad when she finds out why we call.
Are you sure you didn't give her any hints? Of course not. She probably would have hung up in my face if she knew what we really wanted. I'll get it. Ooh, let me see here.
We don't have all day.
Is this the Thomas residence?
You got it.
Oh, come right on in. Have a seat. We've been expecting you.
I'm Mrs. Duncan. Someone called for a cosmetic order. Is there a lady here?
Well, what do I look like, Rosie Greer?
No, Mrs. Duncan, it's not my mother who's on the buying. We're buying.
Do you have any money?
Do we have any money? Mrs. Duncan, do you think we would waste your valuable time and ours?
Probably. But I'll show you the samples anyway. Are you interested in something special?
Yes, we want a gift for a friend.
This smells nice. What is it?
Cuticle remover. Is this gift for a man or a woman?
It's for a very nice man.
Oh, well, this aftershave is popular.
It is fragrant. But he doesn't shave. He has a beard.
Yeah, we're looking for something for an older man.
Right.
He's in the hospital. He has a broken hip.
What does this friend of yours look like?
Your father.
How is he?
Why don't you go ask him?
Look, I've got a lot of calls to make, and I really don't want to talk about my father.
But we thought you wanted to know how he is.
I do, but
It's room 204.
I know the room. I send him flowers.
Oh, you're the admiring fan.
Look, I know you all mean well, but he doesn't want to see me, and I'm not too sure I want to see him.
Because he doesn't like your husband?
You know about my husband, too?
Yeah, is he still white? I mean, is he still the same husband?
Yes, he is. And that's why my father and I haven't spoken to each other for 12 years.
That's stupid.
What?
He's very sick.
It's only a broken hip.
No, it's not.
It's more?
Yeah. The nurse said he's really very, very sick.
Yeah, your father and I got pretty close, and I got a feeling that if you went to see him, he'd be glad to see you.
Thanks, sweetheart. Just might be worth a try.
Well, move it.
Come in.
What's happening, Raj?
Hey.
Yay, what's happening?
Where you guys been?
Oh, on our way over here, we passed by the grand opening for that new taco stand.
So?
Oh, well, they're giving away free silverware with the first 50 tacos sold. Rerun had to be the first in line.
Well, what did you get, Dwayne? A knife or a fork?
I didn't get any, but Rerun has service for 12.
Come in. Mrs. Duncan.
Hi.
Long time no see.
3 weeks to be exact. I'm glad you all here. Is your sister home?
Yeah. Come on in.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything?
Oh, no, thank you. I just wanted to say thanks.
You saw your father.
That's right. The past few weeks with him were wonderful. A little difficult at first, but worth it. We never realized how much we missed each other.
That's beautiful.
He asked about your leg, Raj.
He did?
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Duncan, do you think we could go and see him? Yeah. I mean, I would love to get his autograph on a baseball.
I think he would have been flattered.
Would have been?
Oh.
You're too late, Roger. But thanks to all of you, I wasn't. He wanted you and Dee to have this.
He gave us his radio? Oh. Dee, I got some bad news for you.
I heard. I'm very sorry about your father, Mrs. Duncan. But he'll be all right.
Dee, you don't understand.
Yes, I do. He'll be all right up there, too. You can't get her sliding into a cloud.
That was the greatest, Raj. You are the greatest.
I know it.
What? What? Sit down and we'll tell you. Yeah, tell me. Wait till you hear this. What? What? Tell him, Raj.
Which one, the 1 o'clock thing?
Yeah, wait till you hear this.
Well, at exactly 1 o'clock.
On the dot. At 1 on the dot, Dwayne.
Yeah, what? What?
Wait till you hear this.
I can't hear anything if you keep saying,
Wait till you hear this.
wait till you hear this.
You're right, I'm sorry. Tell him, Raj. Wait till you hear this.
Well, at exactly 1 o'clock on the dot, I got everybody in Miss Collins' class to sneeze all at once.
Oh, wow. And exactly 1 minute after that, he stood up and said, now. And everyone went,
I bet Mama won't think that's funny.
And who's gonna tell Mama?
A little bird.
Well, if that little bird starts to speak, that little bird would have a broken beak.
you coming out or you going to study for Miss Collins' test?
Me study for a test? Huh. Does Wilt Chamberlain study to be tall?
Well, look like the gang's all here.
Hey, Mama.
Would you all like a bite to eat?
Oh, no, we're going down to the soda shop, Miss Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, see you later, Mama.
All right, darling, but look, don't stay out too late.
All right.
But, Raj, aren't you going to study for that big test in Miss Collins' class so you can get a good mark?
Get back here, Roger.
Oh, Mama, today is Wednesday. The test isn't until Friday.
No soda shop. You're going to stay here and study. And you should have a thank you for your sister's concern.
Oh, I do. And as soon as we have a moment alone, I'll give it to her.
Wait a minute, I'll get that.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, look who's here. Children, say hello to your father.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, son.
How you been?
Good. Hey, D.
What are you doing here?
Well, first I wanted to say hello to my kids. Hey, baby.
Okay, now what?
Daddy, you remember my friends, don't you?
Sure. You're Dwayne, right?
Uh-huh.
And how could I ever forget Rerun?
Why don't you try to pick him up?
Oh, boy, I sure feel good being back.
Bill, what brings you to town?
Well, I know you won't believe this,
This is true.
but I found myself a steady job, and I moved back into town for good.
This town?
Yeah, I decided to settle down and be near my children.
How near?
Well, just a couple of blocks. How about that, Mabel?
You put your foot over here and I'll jump for joy on it.
Well, just to show you kids that your dad is back, I'm gonna take you to see that new King Kong movie.
Wait a minute. It's nice of you to offer, Bill, but Roger does have a test on Friday.
Oh, well, that does it, Roger. Studying for a test is more important.
Oh, Mom, I can handle it, please.
Well, all right.
Good. I'll have him back before dinner. Come on, you guys. You too, D.
No. Mama doesn't allow me to go to horror movies because they give me bad dreams. Especially the King Kong movie where the big monster picks up the little girl.
Did you finish? Not yet. All set.
Hey, what's happening, Jesse?
Hey, Roger.
All right, class. We have a lot to cover today, so let's settle down and cover it. All right, who did that?
It sounded like you, Miss Collins.
That's enough, Roger. Now let's get to our map of Mesopotamia. This laughter will come to an end.
It's there already, Miss Collins.
I certainly hope so. Where is my eraser? Roger. Roger Thomas, you're responsible for this. I can't prove it, but I know you're responsible. Now, everybody take out your workbooks.
Oh, he should have been here by now.
I feel it was all my fault. I was just so surprised.
Well, maybe he'll just get a warning.
He's not going to get any warning. He's going to get expelled. Is this good?
What's in there?
Nothing you'd like. Just a little bologna, a little cheese, a little lettuce, and a little mayonnaise.
Can I have a little bite?
What do you give me for it?
I don't have anything to give you for it.
If you don't give, you don't get. That's the way it is in America.
Raj, how'd it go?
Okay.
What?
I got expelled.
For how long?
1 hour.
How could you be expelled only an hour?
Because in 45 minutes, I'm going to kill myself.
Now, Raj, you can't be all that bad.
No. The only way I can get back into school is to bring my mama to see the principal.
Raj, can I have your record collection?
Oh, I am doomed. I've never been in so much trouble in my whole life.
And you've got that big test tomorrow. Poor kid, washed up at 16.
Raj, well, wait a minute. Did the principal say you had to bring your mother to school?
Dwayne, I just told you.
No, but did he say your mother or your parent?
His mother is his parent, Dwayne.
But so is his father, D.
Right! My father is my parent. Dwayne, you're a genius. I bring my father down to school with me, and my mama will never find out.
But suppose someone tells her.
Like who, for instance?
It's possible I might mention it.
It's also possible those might be your last words.
Oh, hey, fellas, what's up?
Wow, Mr. Thomas, what a great looking place.
Yeah, I just love the boxes. Did you pick them yourself?
Yeah. What's up, fellas?
Well, Daddy, no sense in beating around the bush. Sure is hot today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You got a problem, Roger?
Well, Daddy, I got this problem.
Raj, you don't have a problem. We've got a problem. We're friends. We stick together through thick and thin.
That's right. We're all in this together. It's one for all and all for one.
So let's tell Mr. Thomas our problem, Dwayne.
All right. What's your problem?
He's been expelled.
You what?
Yes, sir.
For what?
It's not fair. It's just not fair. Roger's the smartest kid in the school.
What did you do, Roger? I just got bored by a teacher who doesn't have any sense of humor, Daddy.
She wouldn't know a good joke if it jumped up and hit her in the face.
And it did.
And just because of that, if I don't bring a parent with me, I can't get back in.
Well, what did your mother say about this?
Well, she hasn't said anything yet. I was going to tell her after I told you. Poor Mama.
What's wrong with Mama?
Well, Daddy, you know how hard she works. She'll lose a whole day's pay just to come with me. Poor Mama.
Poor Mrs. Thomas.
Poor Mrs. Thomas.
Poor Mrs. Thomas.
Poor Mama. Poor Mama. But I guess I gotta tell her after all she is my parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll see you later then, Daddy. Poor Mama.
Poor Mrs. Thomas.
Poor Mama.
Hold it.
Yeah?
I'm a parent, too.
Oh, yeah!
Hello, Dee.
Hi, Mama.
Did Roger get home from school yet?
Roger doesn't go to school anymore.
What are you talking about?
Oh, how I wish I can tell you, Mama. But I can't. I gave Roger my word that I wouldn't tell you, so I won't.
Tell me what?
That he got expelled.
What?
I can't tell you. I gave my word.
Roger,
Now, Mama, you shouldn't get so upset just because your son is a juvenile delinquent.
Hi, Mama.
Hi. Hello, Roger. How was school today?
School was great, Mama. I love school. Don't I love school?
Right, Roger's a fool for school.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be insane with pain.
What?
Mama knows you expelled.
Gee, look how late it is. Your mind stopped. I think we better be going, Reba. Yeah, bye.
All right, Roger.
Mama, it's all settled. I'm not expelled anymore. I got back in.
Got back in how?
Huh?
How did you get back in without a parent?
Mama, you know what I learned today?
What, Dee?
A father is also a parent.
You went to your father instead of coming to me, right?
Mama, the only reason I went to Dad was because you worked so hard. I didn't want to get you upset, Mama. Mama, I love you with all my heart. So please don't rip it out.
All right then, baby. Saturday night. And don't you bother to bring anything but that perfect face and that beautiful structure that holds it up. All right, then. I'll catch you later. Yeah, Mabel, what are you doing here? What a surprise. Yeah, well, I was just one of the fellas on the phone.
That explains all those nights out with the boys.
Yes, well, what can I do for you, Mabel?
Well, I found out that you went down to school with Roger.
Oh, that was nothing at all. Here, sit down, Mabel. Whoa. Not there. It's my dishes. No, I'm sorry. Sit down.
No, thank you. I just came here to tell you that I know why Roger came to you. He knew you wasn't going to punish him.
Oh, look, Mabel, all I was trying to do was just...
No. Now, you look. I'm Roger's mother, and I'm responsible for him.
Well, I'm Roger's father, and I'm responsible for him, too.
Well, good. I've got a big load of his dirty laundry at home. When are you coming over to do it?
Tell me when.
Who are you kidding? You could never take care of those kids the way I have. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why, I've been a mother and a father.
Well, my kids belong here, too. And whenever they choose to come over, I'll show them that I can be a father and a mother.
You said it.
Hello, Loretta.
Hi, Bill. This sure is a nice apartment. I love the way you have things arranged.
And may I say the same thing about you?
Oh, Bill.
Come on, Loretta. Have a seat on the couch. That way it gives you a better view of the apartment.
Bill, please.
There'll be no bill. This one's on me, and this one's on you. Just relax, my one and only. I shall be back before you're lonely.
Hey, Daddy, how you doing?
Hi. Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah, what are those?
Those are sleeping bags.
Sleeping bags. For sleeping? Sleeping in my house outside of your house?
You got it, Sherlock. Our mama sent us over here to spend the night with you.
Yeah, who sent you where to do what with who?
Yeah, you really got the place fixed up too, Daddy. It was so sloppy before. Now it looks good. You must have got somebody to do a lot of work around here.
Yeah, you must be some great maid.
Maid?
Kids, this is Loretta. Loretta, these are my two children, Roger and Dee.
Hi, how are you two?
Daddy, if we're interrupting, we can...
No interruptions.
Maybe we should go back home.
Hell no, nonsense. This is your house too.
Are you messing around with him?
Well...
I want to watch TV.
Oh, yes, good. Here, it's in the bedroom.
Yeah, let's go and watch TV. And Daddy, you and Loretta can and listen to records.
Yeah, thank you, son. Thank you. The great kids, huh, Loretta?
Yeah. Look, Bill, maybe this isn't the right night for us. I mean, you've got your kids here.
Oh, no. They'll be watching TV until at least the late show. Come on.
You sure it's all right?
I am sure.
Well, all right. I don't believe this.
Come in.
Hey, Mr. Thomas! What's happening?
Nothing.
Oh, Daddy, I'm sorry.
Did she leave?
Yes, she left.
Without so much as a goodbye.
Oh, come on, Dee.
No class.
All right. Oh, hello, Mabel.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, hi, Mama.
Oh, my back.
What's the matter with your back?
Feels like I've been sleeping on a shoe all night.
Hey, anybody see my shoe? Oh, here it is.
Oh, I just came to get the kids back.
Oh, no. There's no hurry. Taking care of these kids is a snap.
Snap, huh?
Hi, Mama.
Oh, hi, baby.
Look at this mess.
I'm looking.
Our house is neat as a pin.
It ain't easy, is it?
No, it ain't easy. But you know what?
What?
It's worth it.
Okay, everybody got everything together?
Yeah, Mama.
You got all your stuff? Come on now. Dee, let's go. Bye, Bill.
Bye, Mabel.
I'll see you, honey.
Bye, baby. Hey, wait a minute. Hang on, Roger. Listen, Roger, I didn't do you any favor by going down to your school like I did. The fact is, you deserve to be punished. Listen, boy, you better straighten up. Because the next time you play me against your mama, you're going to find yourself caught in the middle. And you know there ain't little room there.
Oh, yes, sir. And, Daddy, I'm sorry again about last night, too.
Don't mention it. She wasn't that much.
Great body. Dee plops here all the time. And as soon as she sit on this cushion, she's going straight to the roof. Oh, put those snakes in the drawer by the phone. She hates snakes. And she always goes in there for change.
But what do I do this time?
On the steps. If she don't sit here, she'll definitely sit there. Hurry up.
Call her, Raj.
Come on, Dwayne. Dee.
What?
Could you come here for a minute?
What for? I'm eating.
Well, eat in here. I got something to tell you. It's gonna be fantastic.
What do you want?
Well, sit down. I want to talk to you.
Talk to me about what?
I want to get you a birthday present, but I'm short a few pennies. You got any change in the drawer over there?
I'll see.
What are you all doing?
Oh, nothing, Mama, nothing.
All right, just keep it that way.
It was one of those mornings in Philadelphia where the winter sun barely pierced through the heavy clouds, casting long, muted shadows across the cracked sidewalks and faded brick buildings that lined the neighborhood. Rerun was awake early, sitting on the edge of his bed in the modest room he had grown up in, staring at the ceiling fan spinning lazily above, its rhythmic hum a familiar companion. He had learned long ago that anticipation had a peculiar way of filling the spaces between reality and imagination, and today that anticipation felt almost unbearable. He had the whole week to himself, yes, but Sunday was sacred, reserved for a ritual that had become the most complicated yet essential part of his existence. Rerun's father, William, had left when he was just 10, leaving behind nothing but a few faded photographs, a half-broken bicycle, and an unspoken emptiness that Rerun carried like a dull ache. Yet here he was, 28 years old, staring at the same ceiling fan, thinking of the father he barely knew but had always felt a magnetic pull toward. Maybe today, he whispered, as if speaking it aloud would conjure the universe into alignment, maybe today he'll show up. His mother, Mabel, had passed years ago, leaving him with Aunt Lillian, who had become a mixture of guardian, nag, and reluctant confidant. Aunt Lillian had raised him with the stubborn love typical of women who have suffered quietly, instilling in him values that sometimes felt too heavy for someone his age to carry: respect, responsibility, and the almost unachievable expectation to forgive. Rerun rose from his bed, his feet hitting the cold wooden floor, and made his way to the small kitchenette where he began brewing a pot of coffee strong enough to wake the dead. The aroma filled the room, and for a moment, he allowed himself to imagine that his father might walk through the door at any second, grinning that awkward, slightly crooked smile he remembered from the few family photographs. Rerun dressed quickly, slipping into a worn denim jacket over a faded t-shirt, jeans that had seen better days, and sneakers scuffed from years of walking the same streets, observing the same familiar chaos. Philadelphia had changed, yet remained stubbornly the same, a city clinging to its soul amid the rise of new buildings and the decline of old neighborhoods. Outside, the streets were already alive with Sunday activity. The aroma of fresh bread from a nearby bakery mingled with the faint exhaust of buses making their rounds, and children played in the alleys, their laughter piercing the low hum of morning traffic. Rerun stepped out, inhaling the crisp air, feeling the small thrill of possibility tingle through his veins. He walked with no destination, yet every step carried him closer to the park where he knew his father sometimes appeared, like a ghost drawn back to the life he had abandoned. The park was quiet that morning, dew still clinging to the grass, benches slick with moisture, and a few early risers jogging in slow, deliberate circles. Rerun found his usual bench beneath an old oak tree, its gnarled branches twisting skyward like fingers reaching for something just out of grasp. He sat down, letting the chill seep through his jeans, and waited, scanning the pathways for any sign of movement that might herald William's arrival. Minutes stretched into hours, each one a small test of patience and courage. He remembered stories from neighbors and distant relatives who claimed to have seen his father over the years, always in fragments, a shadow crossing a street, a man in a park feeding pigeons, a familiar laugh carried on the wind. Some said he had become a traveling salesman, others whispered about gambling halls and dubious friendships, yet no one could provide a consistent narrative. And that inconsistency was almost comforting. It allowed Riran to build the father he wanted piece by piece, imagination filling in the gaps left by absence. As the clock in the nearby library struck 10, a figure appeared on the winding path that led through the park. Riran's heart stuttered, recognizing the gate before the face, hesitant, slightly slouched, yet familiar in a way that struck a chord deep within him. William. He was older, yes, the lines on his face deepened by years of neglect and uncertainty, his hair flecked with grey, but unmistakable. Riran rose, feeling an unfamiliar nervousness twist his stomach into knots, as though decades of imagined confrontations and conversations had culminated in this single moment. "Dad," he called out, his voice both a question and an invitation. William froze, a look of shock mixed with something else, regret, perhaps, or recognition, and then slowly, cautiously, he approached. There was a tentative distance between them, the kind that forms naturally after years of absence, yet a magnetic pull made that distance feel both unbearable and necessary. "Riran," William said finally, his voice rough with disuse and emotion, "you've grown." The words were simple, almost clumsy, yet they carried a weight that felt like it might crush and uplift simultaneously. They stood there for a moment, measuring each other, the space filled with unspoken histories, the lives each had lived separately but always in parallel, shadows overlapping in ways that were subtle yet profound. Finally, Riran gestured toward the bench beneath the oak tree. "Sit with me," he said, his tone firmer than he felt. They sat, the quiet between them heavy but not oppressive, as though silence itself had been a teacher preparing them for the conversation to come. William looked down at his hands, noticing the faint scars and calluses of a life that had been hard, yet oddly proud. "I didn't," he began, then stopped, struggling to find the right words. "I know," Riran interrupted gently, anticipating the excuses, the apologies, the explanations that never fully made sense. "We don't need to go there yet. Just start with now." And so they began, talking in cautious sentences that grew into paragraphs, paragraphs that blossomed into hours. They shared mundane details at first, jobs, mutual acquaintances, the state of the neighborhood, the small victories and disappointments of everyday life. But gradually, the conversation deepened, venturing into memories long buried, feelings once locked away. Riran learned about his father's mistakes, the loneliness that had driven him to wander, the misguided attempts at survival, and the regrets that clung to him like a second skin. And William, in turn, listened as Riran spoke of his childhood, his mother, Aunt Lillian, the struggles and triumphs, and the persistent longing that had defined his life in subtle, sometimes painful ways. Around them, the park buzzed softly with life, a soundtrack of distant laughter, birdsong, and the occasional bark of a dog. The ordinary beauty of a Sunday morning seemed almost surreal, a backdrop to a reunion that neither had dared to fully hope for. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, they walked together, their steps tentative but gradually synchronized, weaving through the familiar paths and discovering small, unnoticed corners of the park. William pointed out trees he remembered planting years ago, the small pond where he had taught Riran to skip stones, and the bench where he had once promised to always be there. Each memory carried a weight, a mixture of joy and sorrow, and as they moved through them, the invisible walls of distance and distrust began to crumble, replaced by cautious understanding and the fragile roots of renewed connection. By the time the sun began its slow descent, casting golden light across the city, Riran and William found themselves sitting once more beneath the oak tree. There was a quietness now, not of absence but of comprehension, a mutual acknowledgement of the complexity and imperfection of life. William looked at Riran, eyes moist but steady. "I don't expect forgiveness," he said softly. "I just wanted to be here today. To try." Riran nodded, feeling the lump in his throat ease slightly. "That's all I've ever wanted," he admitted, "for you to try. And maybe we can start with Sundays." A faint smile flickered across William's face, a mixture of relief and tentative hope, and for the first time in decades, the idea of a father and son sitting together didn't feel impossible. As they stood to leave, the city around them seemed brighter, the ordinary streets imbued with a newfound warmth, a promise that perhaps even fractured families could find moments of repair. And so, as they walked back toward the familiar streets, the shadows stretching long in the late afternoon sun, both Riran and William felt a quiet anticipation of Sundays to come, the potential for routine transformed into ritual, absence replaced by presence, and the enduring belief that even the most complicated bonds could find a way to endure. The air carried a scent of possibility, mingled with the faint aroma of bread and coffee from nearby shops, a reminder that life moved in ordinary, miraculous cycles. And as they approached the corner where their paths would part until the next Sunday, William paused, resting a hand briefly on Riran's shoulder, a small gesture heavy with meaning. "Same time next week?" he asked, almost shyly. Riran nodded, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Same time," he affirmed. The city hummed around them, indifferent yet attentive, as if acknowledging the small miracle of reconciliation that had unfolded quietly in its midst. And as Riran watched his father disappear down the familiar streets, he felt the weight of the past lift slightly, replaced by a tentative hope, a fragile optimism that Sundays, once a marker of absence, could now become a celebration of presence, connection, and the enduring, often complicated, beauty of family. The following week, Riran woke before the alarm, a habit that had become both a blessing and a curse. His mind was already racing with anticipation, each second of the morning stretching into a series of imagined scenarios about how the day would unfold. Breakfast was a hurried affair, toast burned at the edges, coffee strong enough to bite, and the faint scent of cinnamon from the small packet of sugar he kept for rare indulgences. As he walked out into the neighborhood, he noticed subtle changes in the way the world seemed to acknowledge him. The streets were familiar, yet each shadow, each crack in the sidewalk, each corner store sign seemed imbued with the potential for a new beginning. Children still played in the alleys, their laughter now a comforting background rather than a distant reminder of what had been lost. At the park, the oak tree stood as steadfast as ever, its branches twisting and turning, leaves rustling softly in the winter breeze. Riran arrived earlier than last week, settling onto the familiar bench and scanning the paths with the cautious hope of someone who had learned to protect their heart. The minutes ticked by, each one a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. He wondered if William had thought about him during the week, if he had rehearsed the same awkward steps and tentative phrases, or if he had simply wandered through his own life until fate drew him back to the park. When William finally appeared, the approach was different this time, less hesitant, more deliberate, his steps carrying a quiet confidence that spoke of preparation and intention. The years of absence had left traces, yes, but there was also an unmistakable warmth in his posture, a desire to reclaim lost time without trying to rewrite the past. "Morning, Riran," he called out, his voice firmer now, edged with a tentative excitement that mirrored his son's own. "Morning," Riran replied, trying to mask the nervous energy in his tone, failing only slightly. They exchanged a glance loaded with the weight of unspoken histories, then began walking along the winding paths of the park. This time, the conversation flowed more naturally. They talked about mundane things first, the weather, the small renovations in the neighborhood, the peculiarities of local politics, but gradually the topics deepened, spilling into memories and reflections that had once been taboo. William admitted to small failures he had never confessed before, mistakes that had shaped his life and, indirectly, Riran's own experiences. He spoke of lost opportunities, friendships that had soured, moments of pride that had been too few to count, and the quiet regret that accompanied every missed Sunday. Riran, in turn, revealed the inner workings of his mind and heart, the struggles of adulthood, the small victories that went unnoticed, and the persistent yearning for a connection that had been interrupted but never extinguished. There were pauses, of course, moments where silence spoke louder than words, where the weight of shared history hung heavily between them. Yet these silences were no longer suffocating, they had become comfortable, spaces in which understanding could grow without the need for explanation or apology. As the morning edged into afternoon, they came upon a small playground tucked behind a grove of trees. Children ran and played, their voices mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hum of traffic. Riran watched a young boy struggle to climb a slide, offering him a hand without a word, and William's eyes softened at the sight. "It's the little things, isn't it?" William said quietly. "Those moments that seem insignificant but build the foundation of life." Riran nodded, realizing that in some ways, those little moments were the very things he had missed most: shared glances, small gestures, casual conversations, the quiet assurance of presence. "I've thought about what you said last Sunday," Riran admitted. "About Sundays being our day. And I want to try to make it work." William smiled. Faintly, the gesture tentative yet sincere. "So do I," he said. "And maybe, eventually, we can extend it. Not just Sundays, but moments when we can really be part of each other's lives." They continued walking, the conversation meandering like the paths beneath their feet, touching on dreams, ambitions, and the unspoken desire to rebuild what had been fractured. The afternoon sun climbed high, filtering through the bare branches of trees and casting long shadows across the park. For the first time in years, Riran felt the unusual yet comforting sensation of normalcy. The air was crisp, tinged with the faint scent of damp earth and the distant aroma of roasted peanuts from a nearby vendor. Time seemed to stretch in an unhurried rhythm, allowing them to exist in a bubble of tentative reconciliation, a space where past mistakes could be acknowledged without dictating the future. As the day wore on, they encountered acquaintances from the neighborhood, old friends of Riran, former classmates, and neighbors who had heard whispers of William's return. Each interaction was a small challenge, a test of patience and courage, yet both men navigated them with a newfound composure. William shook hands with neighbors he had never formally met, exchanged stories with former acquaintances, and even shared a laugh or two, his presence slowly integrating into the familiar social fabric that Riran had inhabited alone for so long. When they paused at a small food stand to grab sandwiches, Riran watched his father interact with the vendor, a simple act that seemed monumental in its ordinariness. It was in these mundane moments, the choice of a sandwich, the act of paying, the exchange of pleasantries, that the profound nature of reconciliation revealed itself. After eating, they wandered further into the park, discovering corners Riran had never noticed, small hidden benches, a shallow stream that had frozen over, and graffiti-laden walls that told stories of youth, rebellion, and fleeting time. Each discovery became a shared experience, a building block in the slowly reconstructing architecture of their relationship. William spoke more freely now, his voice carrying stories of distant cities, failed relationships, and moments of solitude that had shaped him. He confessed his fears, the loneliness that had once consumed him, and the guilt that had been a constant companion. Riran listened intently, realizing that understanding did not require agreement, that empathy could exist alongside frustration, and that healing often demanded patience more than explanation. As the sun began its slow descent, casting golden hues across the park, they returned to the oak tree. The bench beneath it had become a symbol, not just of their reunion, but of the potential for continuity, a sacred spot where presence was valued more than perfection. They sat in silence for a while, letting the tranquility of the evening seep into their bones. The city beyond the park seemed to fade, leaving only the quiet intimacy of two men attempting to bridge decades of absence. "I never realized," William said softly, "how much these small routines, these simple Sundays, could mean. It's more than just time together. It's a way to anchor ourselves in the chaos." Riran nodded, his own thoughts reflecting a similar realization. "I guess I always thought we had to do something grand, some monumental act to repair what was broken. But it's the ordinary moments, the repeated rituals, that matter most." They discussed future Sundays, tentative plans that included walks, conversations, shared meals, and perhaps even attempts at recreating some of the childhood experiences Riran had longed for. There was an unspoken understanding that progress would be gradual, that mistakes would be made, and that patience would be necessary. Yet both were committed, driven by a mutual recognition of the value of presence, connection, and the slow rebuilding of trust. As dusk approached, painting the sky in shades of orange, pink, and deepening blue, they prepared to part ways. William offered a hand, which Riran shook firmly, a silent affirmation of their shared commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, a small, hopeful smile playing on his lips. "Absolutely," Riran replied. "And maybe we can start exploring other parts of the city, too. Make Sundays an adventure, not just a meeting." William chuckled softly, the sound warm and genuine. "I like that idea. It's time to add new memories to the old ones." They walked together to the edge of the park, where paths diverged, and exchanged a lingering look, a mixture of hope, reassurance, and the acknowledgement of a bond rekindled. Riran watched as his father disappeared down the familiar streets, the glow of streetlights beginning to flicker on, casting pools of light onto the sidewalk. He felt a quiet sense of accomplishment, not for grand gestures, but for the simple act of presence, of showing up, and of beginning again. Walking home, he noticed the subtle transformations in the neighborhood, the soft hum of evening activity, the familiar faces returning home, the gentle interplay of light and shadow, and he realized that life, much like their Sundays, was composed of small, meaningful moments strung together in delicate harmony. By the time he returned to his apartment, the city had settled into its nocturnal rhythm, yet the warmth of the day lingered. He prepared a simple dinner, the act of cooking almost meditative, reflecting on the conversations, the walks, the shared silences, and the laughter that had marked the day. For the first time in years, he felt the possibility of continuity, the promise that Sundays could evolve into more than ritual, they could become the foundation of a restored relationship, a space where understanding, forgiveness, and love could coexist, imperfect but authentic. As he sat at his small kitchen table, looking out at the city lights twinkling against the darkened sky, Riran allowed himself a moment of reflection. He realized that the journey was far from over, that the complexities of family, the scars of absence, and the intricacies of human connection would continue to challenge them. Yet for the first time, he also recognized that hope was not a naive fantasy but a tangible force, nurtured by presence, patience, and the willingness to embrace imperfection. And so, as night enveloped the city, Riran closed his eyes, feeling the quiet satisfaction of a Sunday well spent, a relationship tentatively restored, and a future filled with possibilities waiting patiently for each return of dawn, each next Sunday, and each small yet profound step toward understanding, connection, and the enduring power of family. Sunday arrived with an unusually bright sky, sunlight spilling over the city like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Riran woke with a strange mixture of excitement and apprehension, the memory of the previous week's Sundays replaying in his mind with vivid clarity. Each moment with William had chipped away at the walls of absence, leaving behind fragments of hope and cautious optimism. He dressed quickly, choosing a jacket that had seen better days, jeans worn soft from countless walks, and sneakers scuffed from the rhythms of his familiar streets. Breakfast was sparse but comforting: toast, coffee, and the lingering scent of cinnamon in the air, a small reminder of normalcy. As he stepped out, the city greeted him with its characteristic clamor: cars honking in the distance, street vendors setting up their stands, children darting between alleys and corners, and neighbors chatting across fences, their voices mingling with the crisp morning air. The park was alive, more so than in previous weeks. Joggers moved in measured circuits, dogs tugged at leashes with infectious energy, and the laughter of children rang clear and bright, echoing off the concrete and brick around them. Riran approached the oak tree bench, heart pounding with anticipation, scanning the paths for any sign of William's arrival. He noticed small details he had never seen before: the glint of frost on the grass, the gentle sway of branches in the breeze, the pattern of footprints leading to the playground, each one a marker of time, presence, and human connection. William appeared shortly after, his gait steady, posture straighter than the last time, carrying with him an air of determination and purpose. "Morning, Riran," he greeted, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "Morning," Riran replied, his own smile tentative but genuine. They exchanged the customary nod, a silent acknowledgement of shared history, mutual respect, and the possibility of future growth. The day unfolded with a rhythm that felt increasingly natural. They walked through familiar paths, revisiting corners of the park that had once been neglected or unnoticed, and explored new areas that William had recently discovered, small hidden spaces where nature and city life intersected in unexpected harmony. Conversation flowed effortlessly, beginning with mundane topics like weather, neighborhood changes, and shared memories, then gradually deepening into discussions of hopes, fears, and the subtleties of human emotion. William spoke of past mistakes, missed opportunities, and the loneliness that had once defined his life, articulating thoughts and feelings that had been suppressed for decades. Riran, in turn, revealed aspects of his own journey, struggles with work, moments of self-doubt, and the persistent longing for a consistent paternal presence. They encountered children playing soccer near the pond, and Riran instinctively joined in, demonstrating an athletic skill and enthusiasm that William hadn't witnessed before. William cheered him on, pride mingling with nostalgia, and for a moment, the park became a stage where both past and present converged, memories colliding with lived experiences in a harmonious display of familial connection. After the impromptu soccer game, they found a small vendor selling pretzels and roasted nuts, the scent mingling with the crisp air, and they shared a snack on a nearby bench. Conversation continued seamlessly, touching on philosophical musings about life, the meaning of forgiveness, and the nature of human imperfection. William confessed that he had often imagined Riran as a child, wondering what he might have been like, what interests he might have pursued, and whether the absence had irreparably shaped his personality. Riran, surprisingly, admitted that he had done the same, crafting an idealized version of his father in the quiet moments of reflection, hoping that one day reality might align with imagination. This exchange, filled with candid honesty and emotional vulnerability, marked a turning point in their Sunday tradition. The park, once a neutral space of tentative meetings, had become a canvas upon which trust, understanding, and reconciliation were slowly being painted. They wandered further, discovering a neglected garden tucked behind a row of trees, its flowers overgrown yet resilient, each bloom a testament to endurance and quiet beauty. William paused, tracing a finger along a frozen stem, reflective and contemplative. "This garden," he said softly, "reminds me of us. Neglected for a long time, yet still capable of growth, still capable of beauty." Riran considered the analogy, the weight of its truth settling over him like a gentle warmth. "It's up to us to nurture it now," he replied, realizing that forgiveness, connection, and shared experiences required conscious effort, patience, and care. They lingered in the garden, talking quietly, their voices low yet resonant, harmonizing with the subtle symphony of nature around them. Birds chirped softly from the branches above, and the distant hum of the city provided a rhythmic backdrop, grounding their conversation in the tangible world even as they explored the depths of human emotion and familial complexity. As the afternoon progressed, they came upon a small community center, where local children were engaged in art classes, music lessons, and recreational activities. William observed a group of young boys attempting to play an improvised game of basketball, their laughter echoing off the walls. "You know," he said, "I never really realized how much these small communities shape who we are. The people, the routines, the shared spaces, they're all part of the fabric of our lives." Riran nodded, appreciating the observation. He had grown up amidst this same neighborhood, yet only now, with his father by his side, did he fully grasp the interconnectedness of people, spaces, and experiences. They spent time interacting with the children, offering guidance, encouragement, and support, each interaction strengthening the subtle yet profound bond between father and son. Riran noticed the pride in William's eyes, the way he watched the children with a mixture of admiration and longing, perhaps imagining the countless Sundays lost to absence, yet also acknowledging the opportunity to participate in life's unfolding now. As evening approached, they returned to the oak tree bench, the sunlight casting elongated shadows that danced across the frozen grass. The air had grown cooler, carrying with it the faint scent of nearby bakeries, the comforting aroma of roasted coffee, and the subtle tang of winter approaching. They sat in companionable silence for a few moments, letting the tranquility of the park sink into their bones, the culmination of shared experiences, laughter, and candid conversations coalescing into a quiet sense of accomplishment. "You know," William began, his voice low yet steady, "I never thought I'd have the chance to really be part of your life, to experience Sundays like this. I've missed so much." Riran looked at him, the emotional weight of the statement reflected in his own eyes. "And yet," he said softly, "we have the chance now. That's what matters." There was a pause, a moment of mutual reflection in which the significance of their journey settled between them like a gentle, enduring presence. They discussed tentative plans for future Sundays, perhaps visiting museums, attending local performances, exploring parts of the city they had never truly seen. The idea was not merely to fill time but to create meaningful experiences that would cement their relationship, providing a foundation upon which trust, understanding, and affection could grow. As dusk settled over the city, casting warm golden hues across the park, they began the familiar walk toward the edge where their paths would diverge until next Sunday. William's hand brushed against Riran's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and connection, a silent promise that presence, effort, and commitment were now guiding their relationship. "Same time next week?" William asked, a quiet smile on his face. "Of course," Riran replied, returning the smile with equal warmth. "And maybe we can try some new routes, discover new places. Make Sundays feel like an adventure." William chuckled softly, the sound carrying a warmth that resonated in Riran's chest. "I like the sound of that. Adventure and growth, all in one day." They parted ways at the park's exit, each walking toward the familiar streets of their separate lives, yet carrying with them the shared experiences, laughter, and quiet revelations that had defined the day. The city had transformed in subtle ways, its ordinary streets imbued with the extraordinary weight of human connection, understanding, and the fragile yet resilient promise of restored relationships. Returning home, Riran reflected on the nuances of the day, the small victories, the tender moments of vulnerability, the laughter shared with children and strangers alike, and the comforting rhythm of familiarity interwoven with the excitement of new experiences. He prepared a simple meal, allowing the process to anchor him in the present, the aroma of cooking food mingling with the distant hum of the city settling into evening. As he sat at the kitchen table, he felt the quiet satisfaction of progress, understanding that the journey toward reconciliation was neither linear nor predictable, yet profoundly rewarding in its small, cumulative moments. The anticipation of the next Sunday hung over him like a gentle beacon, guiding his thoughts, shaping his routines, and offering the promise that consistent presence, effort, and emotional honesty could nurture the fragile threads of family, trust, and connection. Night descended, the city's lights twinkling like distant stars against the darkened sky, and Riran allowed himself to linger in reflection, acknowledging both the challenges overcome and the possibilities that lay ahead. He understood now that Sundays were not merely a day of the week, they were a ritual, a sacred opportunity to cultivate relationships, foster understanding, and embrace the imperfect yet invaluable bonds of family. As he prepared for sleep, the quiet hum of the city outside his window served as a comforting lullaby, a reminder that life, like their Sundays, unfolded in deliberate, meaningful increments, each moment building upon the last to create a tapestry of connection, growth, and enduring hope. And so, Riran closed his eyes, embracing the gentle weight of progress, the subtle warmth of reconciliation, and the promise of the next Sunday, where father and son would walk together once more, discovering not only the city around them but the depths of human connection, forgiveness, and the enduring power of shared presence. The next Sunday arrived with a brisk chill in the air, a reminder that winter was gradually tightening its grip on the city. Riran woke with a quiet determination, his mind already moving through the familiar routines of preparation, dressing in layers to ward off the cold, brewing coffee that would steam in the early morning light, and savoring the brief solitude before the world fully awakened. The streets outside were alive with a subdued energy, neighbors going about errands, children darting past with winter coats zipped tightly, and the distant hum of morning traffic punctuated by the occasional bark of a dog or the screech of a bicycle brake. Riran made his way to the park earlier than usual, compelled by a sense of responsibility and excitement that had taken root over the past weeks. The oak tree stood as a steadfast sentinel, its bare branches reaching skyward, and beneath it, the familiar bench awaited, a place that had grown in significance with each passing Sunday. William arrived shortly after, his approach marked by the same steady, purposeful gait that had become characteristic of these reunions. "Morning, Riran," he greeted, his voice carrying warmth and the subtle undercurrent of anticipation. "Morning," Riran replied, a smile tugging at his lips, reflecting the comfort that had begun to form in these ritualistic encounters. They began their walk through the park with an ease that spoke of growing familiarity, their conversation oscillating between light-hearted banter and deeper reflections on life, responsibility, and the small victories that define their week-to-week existence. William shared anecdotes from his work, encounters with old friends, and fleeting moments of realization about his own shortcomings, while Riran recounted events from his job, interactions with neighbors, and the subtle growth of confidence and understanding that had emerged in the wake of these Sundays. As they reached a small frozen pond, they noticed children attempting to skate, their laughter and clumsy movements a charming spectacle against the crisp winter air. Riran joined in, guiding a young boy who struggled to maintain balance, while William watched with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. The act was simple, yet profoundly meaningful, a demonstration of presence, guidance, and the quiet but powerful bond that could exist between generations. After a while, they moved to a nearby grove where the sunlight filtered through the skeletal branches, casting intricate patterns on the snow-dusted ground. Conversation naturally shifted toward more intimate topics, the nuances of forgiveness, the challenge of reconciling past mistakes with present intentions, and the recognition that rebuilding a relationship required patience, honesty, and a willingness to embrace imperfection. William admitted to moments of fear and uncertainty he had carried for years, the apprehension that perhaps too much time had passed for meaningful connection. Riran, in response, expressed his own vulnerability, acknowledging that while he had longed for his father's presence, he also carried doubts about whether trust could be re-established. The dialogue was raw, unfiltered, and deeply human, a reflection of the complex dance between absence, expectation, and the tentative steps toward reconciliation. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, they discovered a small community garden nestled behind a row of buildings, its beds neatly arranged yet dusted with frost. William paused, observing the resilient plants and the effort that had gone into maintaining them despite the harsh winter. "This garden," he said quietly, "reminds me of how we need to nurture relationships. They don't thrive on neglect, even if the roots are strong." Riran considered the analogy carefully, recognizing the truth in it. "It's the attention, care, and effort that make the difference," he replied. "Not just presence, but intentional presence." They lingered in the garden, sharing thoughts on growth, patience, and the small gestures that could transform ordinary Sundays into meaningful experiences. William spoke of lessons learned from past failures, insights gleaned from observing neighbors, and the gradual understanding that family, connection, and trust were not guaranteed, they were cultivated. Riran reflected on his own journey, the weeks of careful observation, the tentative steps toward engagement, and the profound satisfaction of witnessing genuine effort from someone who had once been absent. After leaving the garden, they wandered toward the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were setting up for an informal performance. The sound of tuning instruments filled the air, accompanied by the faint murmur of early spectators. William suggested they stay for a while, and Riran agreed, appreciating the opportunity to share an experience that was both ordinary and extraordinary in its simplicity. The music began, a gentle blend of strings, piano, and percussion, filling the space with a harmony that seemed to resonate with the emotional tenor of their Sunday. They listened quietly, absorbing not just the notes but the rhythm of human creativity, the patience and dedication evident in each movement, and the way art could serve as a bridge between disparate lives. As the performance progressed, William leaned slightly closer to Riran. "You know," he said softly, "it's moments like this that remind me why I wanted to be here. Not to erase the past, but to participate in the present, to witness life unfolding beside you." Riran nodded, the words echoing his own thoughts. "I feel the same. It's not about catching up on lost time, it's about creating new memories, together, that will endure." The afternoon continued with shared experiences, observing the musicians, interacting with children playing nearby, and taking brief detours through less familiar paths that offered glimpses of the city's hidden beauty. Each moment, while seemingly insignificant on its own, accumulated into a tapestry of shared experience, trust, and slowly blossoming intimacy. By late afternoon, they found themselves once again at the oak tree bench. The sun was low, casting a golden glow over the park, illuminating the frost-laden branches and the faintly glimmering paths beneath their feet. They sat in comfortable silence, letting the weight and warmth of the day settle into their consciousness. "I've realized something," William began, his voice thoughtful. "These Sundays, they are teaching me more about life than I ever expected. About patience, humility, and the value of showing up." Riran smiled, understanding the sentiment intimately. "And they're teaching me about hope, about forgiveness, and about the fact that even small, consistent efforts can rebuild what was once lost." They discussed tentative plans for future Sundays, exploring other neighborhoods, attending local performances, participating in community events, and perhaps even planning occasional day trips to places they had both longed to visit but never had the opportunity. The key, they agreed, was not quantity but quality, ensuring that each interaction was meaningful, intentional, and capable of nurturing the bond that had begun to take root. As evening approached, casting long shadows across the park, they walked together toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed against Riran's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and connection, signaling that their relationship, while still fragile, was developing on a foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and hope. "Same time next week?" William asked, the question carrying a tone of quiet expectation and commitment. Absolutely, Rerun replied, returning the gesture with warmth. And maybe we can add some new routines, small adventures that make Sundays feel alive in different ways. William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. I like the sound of that. Adventure and growth, combined with consistency and presence, it's a good mix. They parted ways, each returning to the familiar streets of their respective lives, carrying with them the shared experiences, laughter, and reflections that had defined the day. The city, ordinary and bustling, seemed transformed in subtle ways, illuminated by the intangible warmth of human connection, mutual understanding, and the delicate process of rebuilding trust. Back home, Rerun reflected on the nuances of the day, the shared victories, the tender moments of honesty, the laughter and quiet gestures that had marked the hours. He prepared a simple meal, allowing the act of cooking to ground him in the present, appreciating the ordinary yet profound nature of the experiences that had unfolded. As night settled over the city, Rerun allowed himself a moment of introspection, recognizing both the challenges still ahead and the possibilities that lay within his grasp. Sundays had evolved from mere markers of time into a sacred ritual of connection, a framework within which trust, understanding, and emotional intimacy could be nurtured and expanded. The anticipation of the next Sunday served as a beacon, guiding his thoughts, shaping his routines, and reinforcing the value of consistent, intentional presence in cultivating meaningful relationships. The night deepened, city lights twinkling like distant constellations against the darkened sky, and Rerun felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. He understood that the journey toward reconciliation was ongoing, filled with subtle victories and incremental progress, yet profoundly rewarding in its accumulation of shared experiences, trust-building moments, and mutual growth. Closing his eyes, he embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the gentle reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each one offering an opportunity to further explore, nurture, and solidify the fragile yet enduring bond between father and son. Life, much like their Sundays, unfolded in a series of deliberate, meaningful increments, each moment a testament to the power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday dawned with a soft mist settling over the city, blurring the sharp edges of buildings and streets, and giving Philadelphia an ethereal, almost dreamlike quality. Rerun awoke with a quiet excitement, the familiar flutter in his chest signaling both anticipation and the steady rhythm of ritual that had taken root in his life. He dressed with care, selecting layers to ward off the lingering chill, sneakers worn yet comforting on his feet, and a jacket that carried the faint scent of previous Sundays spent walking and exploring the city. Breakfast was a simple affair, toast lightly buttered and coffee steaming in the cup that had become a companion to his thoughts. He left his apartment early, walking through streets that were already alive with subtle activity, shopkeepers arranging their displays, children chasing one another along the sidewalks, and neighbors exchanging brief greetings that carried warmth and recognition. At the park, the oak tree stood as a steadfast sentinel, its branches skeletal but proud against the muted morning sky. Rerun arrived at the bench beneath it, heart racing with the expectation that had come to define these Sundays. He watched the pups with anticipation, imagining William's approach, the familiar gait, the subtle movements that had become markers of presence, reliability, and tentative trust. When William arrived, his posture was relaxed yet purposeful, a quiet assurance accompanying him as he moved toward the bench. "Morning, Rerun," he greeted, his voice carrying warmth and a subtle note of excitement that mirrored his son's own feelings. "Morning," Rerun replied, the words tinged with a mixture of nervousness and genuine happiness. They began their walk through the park with an ease that had gradually developed over weeks, conversation flowing naturally between light-hearted banter, shared observations about the city, and reflections on the unfolding tapestry of life around them. They spoke of small victories from the week, challenges faced at work, and the subtle progress in personal endeavors, each conversation reinforcing the emerging rhythm of their relationship. Children playing near the frozen pond drew their attention, and Rerun instinctively joined a group trying to balance on makeshift ice skates, guiding a young girl who wobbled precariously. William observed, a mixture of pride and nostalgia in his eyes, recognizing both his son's growth and the significance of shared experiences that extended beyond mere words. Afterward, they explored a small grove tucked behind the park's main paths, sunlight filtering through the sparse branches, casting intricate shadows on the frost-dusted ground. Conversation naturally shifted toward more intimate topics, the complexities of forgiveness, the challenge of reconciling past regrets with present intentions, and the recognition that building trust required both patience and courage. William spoke openly of fears and uncertainties he had carried for decades, moments of regret that had shaped him, and the profound awareness that absence had lasting consequences. Rerun responded with honesty, acknowledging the impact of that absence, the longing for consistent paternal presence, and the tentative optimism that had grown with each Sunday meeting. Their dialogue, candid and unfiltered, became a bridge spanning decades of separation, each sentence, pause, and gesture reinforcing the fragile yet increasingly resilient bond between them. They wandered further, discovering a small, neglected community garden hidden behind a row of buildings. Despite frost-laden soil and sparse growth, the garden's potential was evident, and William paused, tracing a finger along a resilient stem. "This garden reminds me of our Sundays," he said softly. "Neglected at times, perhaps forgotten, but still capable of growth and beauty if nurtured with care." Rerun reflected on the metaphor, understanding that consistent effort, attention, and intentionality were necessary to rebuild relationships fractured by time, distance, and absence. They lingered in the garden, discussing growth, patience, and the value of incremental progress, realizing that ordinary gestures, shared conversations, physical presence, and the willingness to engage were the seeds from which trust and connection could flourish. Leaving the garden, they approached the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were preparing for an informal afternoon performance. The sound of tuning instruments mingled with distant laughter and conversation, creating a tapestry of urban life punctuated by artistic endeavor. William suggested they stay, and Rerun agreed, recognizing the significance of experiencing beauty together, of participating in cultural expressions that fostered connection, empathy, and shared reflection. The music began, a gentle blend of strings and piano notes, weaving a melodic narrative that seemed to echo the emotional tenor of their Sundays. They listened quietly, absorbing not only the music but the dedication, patience, and creativity that had produced it. William leaned toward Rerun, his voice low and reflective. "It's these moments, the ones that seem ordinary, that make me grateful for being here. Not to erase the past, but to participate in the present." Rerun nodded, understanding the sentiment intimately. "It's not about catching up on lost time," he said softly, "but about creating new memories that matter, together." The afternoon unfolded with a series of shared experiences, observing performances, interacting with children engaged in play, and exploring previously unnoticed paths that revealed hidden aspects of the park and city beyond. Each encounter, while seemingly minor, accumulated into a meaningful narrative of connection, trust, and the subtle growth of familial intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, now a symbol of both continuity and potential, the foundation of a ritual that had grown in significance with each passing week. The sun cast long shadows, illuminating frost-covered grass and creating a tranquil, almost sacred atmosphere. They sat in reflective silence, the weight of the day settling gently around them, punctuated by the quiet hum of the city and distant laughter. "I've realized something important," William began, his tone thoughtful. "These Sundays teach me more about life than I ever expected, patience, humility, and the value of consistent effort. Rerun smiled, acknowledging the depth of insight. And they teach me about hope, forgiveness, and the subtle power of showing up, even when it's difficult. They discuss plans for future Sundays, venturing into new neighborhoods, attending community events, and engaging in shared activities that fostered both personal growth and relational development. The emphasis was on quality over quantity, ensuring that each encounter contributed to the deepening of trust, understanding, and shared memory. As evening approached, they walked together toward the park's exit, William's hand brushing Rerun's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and affirmation. "Same time next week?" William asked, his expression carrying both hope and commitment. "Absolutely," Rerun replied, returning the gesture with warmth. "And perhaps we can add new routines, small adventures that make Sundays dynamic and memorable." William chuckled softly, appreciating the proposal. Adventure combined with consistency, that's the perfect formula. They parted ways, each returning to the familiar rhythm of their respective lives, yet carrying with them the weight of shared experience, laughter, and reflection that had defined the day. The city, bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet intensity of human connection, trust-building, and the ongoing process of reconciliation. Back at home, Rerun prepared a simple meal, allowing the process to ground him in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day. He noted small victories, tender moments of honesty, laughter shared with children and strangers, and the comfort derived from routines imbued with intention. As night descended, city lights twinkling like distant stars, he allowed himself a moment of introspection, recognizing both the challenges that remain and the possibilities that lay ahead. Sundays had evolved into more than temporal markers, they had become a sacred ritual, a deliberate opportunity to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of familial bonds. The anticipation of the next Sunday acted as a guiding light, shaping his thoughts, routines, and expectations, and reinforcing the value of consistent, intentional presence in fostering meaningful relationships. Night deepened, and Rerun embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the assurance of re-established connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to further explore, nurture, and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, much like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a muted grey sky, the clouds hanging low as if hesitant to release the day into sunlight. Rerun awoke with the familiar mix of anticipation and nervous energy, the rhythm of these Sundays now deeply ingrained in his weekly life. Dressing quickly, he opted for layered clothing, jeans worn soft from countless walks, a sweater that had softened over time, and sneakers scuffed from the many streets he had wandered with William over the past weeks. Breakfast was a quiet ritual, the smell of brewing coffee mingling with toasted bread, cinnamon sugar sprinkled lightly over the top, each element familiar yet comforting. Stepping out, the city greeted him with subdued life, shopkeepers opening shutters, children with winter coats zipped tight, and neighbors exchanging morning greetings, each encounter a small reminder of the interconnected web of the community. As he approached the park, the oak tree stood proudly against the grey sky, its skeletal branches stretching outward, a symbol of endurance and continuity. Rerun arrived at the bench beneath it, heart pounding in anticipation of William's arrival. The city around him seemed to hold its breath, every distant sound amplified in his heightened awareness. When William appeared, his gait measured and purposeful, Rerun felt a familiar mixture of relief and excitement that had come to define these Sundays. "Morning, Rerun," William called, voice carrying warmth and subtle hope. "Morning," Rerun replied, his own tone reflecting the same mixture of emotions. They began their walk through the park, a rhythm that had developed naturally over the past weeks. Conversation flowed easily, alternating between observations of the city, neighborhood changes, and shared reflections on life's challenges and triumphs. William shared insights gained from his week, moments of realization about the subtleties of human connection, and the importance of presence in a world often distracted by obligations and distractions. Riran recounted stories from his week, encounters with friends, small personal victories, and moments of self-doubt he had managed to overcome. The dialogue, rich and layered, reflected both the progress of their relationship and the continued growth of understanding between father and son. They came upon the frozen pond, where children were attempting to skate. Riran joined a small group, helping a young boy balance on the ice, while William watched, pride evident in his eyes. The simple act of guidance, encouragement, and shared participation became a profound symbol of the evolving father-son relationship. Afterward, they wandered to a less traveled grove, sunlight breaking through the clouds in scattered beams. Conversation deepened naturally, covering topics of regret, forgiveness, and the subtle ways absence can shape both expectations and emotions. William admitted his fears of inadequacy, the anxiety that he might never fully repair the gaps created by years of absence, and the guilt that had quietly weighed on him for decades. Riran responded with honesty, acknowledging the impact of the absence, his longing for consistent paternal presence, and the tentative optimism that had emerged through repeated Sunday meetings. Their dialogue, filled with vulnerability and candid reflection, acted as a bridge, spanning decades of separation and reinforcing the delicate yet increasingly resilient bond between them. They discovered a small community garden hidden behind a row of buildings, its plants hardy and resilient despite frost-dusted soil. William paused, tracing a leaf with care. "This garden is like our Sundays," he said thoughtfully. "Neglected at times, but still capable of growth with consistent nurturing." Riran absorbed the metaphor, recognizing that deliberate effort, attention, and intentionality were critical to restoring fractured relationships. They lingered in the garden, discussing growth, patience, and the incremental steps that made a difference, realizing that ordinary gestures, shared time, candid conversation, and mutual engagement were the seeds of trust and connection. After leaving the garden, they headed to the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were setting up for an informal performance. The tuning of instruments mingled with distant chatter and laughter, creating a vibrant backdrop. William suggested they watch for a while, and Riran agreed, understanding the significance of experiencing beauty together and the quiet enrichment of shared cultural moments. The music began, a delicate interweaving of strings, piano, and subtle percussion. The melodies seemed to mirror the emotional evolution of their Sundays, harmonizing with the patience, care, and commitment demonstrated in their relationship. William leaned toward Riran. "These moments make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to engage fully in the present." Riran nodded, feeling the truth of the statement. "It's about creating meaningful memories now," he replied. "Memories that will sustain us in ways absence never could." They continued exploring the park, engaging with children at play, interacting with neighbors, and discovering hidden paths that revealed the subtle beauty of the city. Each encounter, while seemingly minor, contributed to a shared narrative of connection, trust, and familial intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, its significance now deeply rooted in their weekly ritual. The sunlight filtered through sparse branches, casting intricate shadows on the frost-covered ground, creating an atmosphere both reflective and serene. They sat in silence for several minutes, letting the weight of shared experiences settle around them. "I've realized something important," William began, his tone contemplative. "These Sundays teach me about patience, humility, and the value of showing up, even when it's hard." Riran smiled, acknowledging the insight. They teach me about hope and forgiveness, he replied. And the power of presence, even in small, ordinary moments. They discussed tentative plans for future Sundays, visiting other neighborhoods, attending community events, exploring museums, and engaging in activities that combine growth, learning, and shared experience. Quality rather than quantity was the guiding principle, ensuring each interaction fostered connection and deepened understanding. As evening approached, they walked together toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed Riran's shoulder, a silent gesture of reassurance and commitment. Same time next week? William asked, a question filled with hope. Absolutely, Riran replied warmly. And we can add small adventures, explorations that make Sundays dynamic and memorable. William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. Adventure combined with consistency, it's the perfect balance. They parted ways, returning to the familiar rhythms of their respective lives, yet carrying with them the shared experiences, laughter, and reflections that had defined the day. The city, ordinary and bustling, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet intensity of human connection and the delicate work of rebuilding trust. Back at home, Riran prepared a simple meal, letting the process ground him in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day. He acknowledged the small victories, tender moments of honesty, and the comfort derived from routines imbued with intention. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he took a moment for introspection, recognizing both the challenges ahead and the possibilities that lay within reach. Sundays had become more than markers of time. They had evolved into sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of familial bonds. The anticipation of the next Sunday acted as a guiding light, shaping his thoughts, routines, and expectations, and reinforcing the value of consistent, intentional presence. Night deepened, and Riran embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each one offering opportunities to further nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like their Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the enduring power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a pale sun barely breaking through the dense clouds, casting the city in a muted light that softened the edges of buildings and streets. Riran awoke with the familiar stir of anticipation, his mind already cycling through the small rituals and preparations that had come to define these mornings. He dressed carefully, selecting layers for the crisp air, a well-worn jacket that carried faint scents of previous Sundays, and sneakers scuffed from countless walks with William. Breakfast was modest, coffee steaming beside lightly buttered toast, cinnamon sugar sprinkled delicately on top, each element a comforting constant in the evolving routine. Stepping outside, the city hummed with subdued activity. Shopkeepers opened their doors with quiet efficiency, children in heavy coats darted along sidewalks, and neighbors exchanged greetings that carried warmth and recognition, subtle indicators of a community that moved in its own rhythm. Approaching the park, Riran felt a familiar surge of excitement mixed with nervous anticipation. The oak tree loomed ahead, its skeletal branches a steadfast symbol of time, endurance, and the rituals that had grown increasingly sacred. Arriving at a bench beneath it, he watched the winding paths, scanning for the familiar figure of William, imagining his approach with a mixture of hope and careful expectation. When William appeared, his presence was steady and purposeful, the gait confident yet unassuming. "Morning, Riran," he called, the tone carrying warm and understated excitement. "Morning," Riran replied, a smile tugging at his lips, reflecting the deep comfort that had developed in these Sunday encounters. They began walking through the park, the rhythm of their steps a quiet testament to the growing ease between them. Conversation flowed naturally, alternating between casual observations of the city, reflections on recent weeks, and deeper discussions about life, responsibility, and the passage of time. William shared moments of insight gleaned from his week, reflections on human behavior, and subtle observations about the importance of presence and intention in maintaining meaningful relationships. Rerun recounted personal experiences, small victories, moments of doubt, and the evolving understanding of the value of consistency, honesty, and connection. The dialogue, rich and layered, reinforced the delicate architecture of trust they were building together. Approaching the frozen pond, they encountered children attempting to skate. Rerun joined in, helping a young boy regain balance after a stumble, while William watched, pride evident in his eyes, appreciating not only the interaction but the tangible embodiment of growth and shared experience. Afterwards, they meandered into a secluded grove, sunlight filtering intermittently through the clouds, creating a pattern of light and shadow that seemed almost deliberate. Conversation deepened naturally, turning toward topics of regret, forgiveness, and the subtle impacts of absence on human emotion and expectation. William expressed fears of inadequacy, anxiety about whether he could repair the gaps caused by decades of distance, and the persistent guilt that had accompanied him for so long. Rerun responded candidly, acknowledging the emotional impact of his father's absence, the longing for consistent presence, and the cautious optimism fostered through these weeks of shared Sundays. Their dialogue, characterized by vulnerability and honest reflection, served as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but steadily strengthening bond between father and son. They discovered a small, overlooked community garden tucked behind buildings, the frost-laden soil and resilient plants a testament to endurance and care. William paused, gently touching a stem. "This garden mirrors our Sundays," he observed quietly. "Neglected at times, yet capable of growth if tended with attention and effort." Rerun absorbed the analogy, recognizing that deliberate care, intentionality, and consistency were essential for nurturing relationships fractured by time and distance. They lingered, discussing patience, gradual progress, and the importance of ordinary, intentional gestures, time spent together, candid conversations, and engaged presence as the foundation for trust and understanding. Leaving the garden, they headed toward the park's central pavilion, where musicians were preparing for an informal performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, distant chatter, and laughter created a rich tapestry of urban life infused with creativity. William suggested they stay, and Rerun agreed, recognizing the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy, and witnessing the subtle impact of cultural expressions on human connection. The music commenced, a gentle intertwining of strings, piano, and light percussion, melodies resonating with the evolving emotional tenor of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Rerun. "These moments make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to participate fully in the present." Rerun nodded, understanding the depth of the sentiment. "It's about creating meaningful memories that sustain us now," he replied, "memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon passed with a series of shared, seemingly mundane but profoundly significant experiences, observing performances, interacting with children, and exploring less familiar paths that revealed hidden corners of the city. Each moment, while ordinary on the surface, accumulated into a narrative rich with connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, its presence now symbolizing both stability and potential. The sunlight, muted by clouds, cast long, intricate shadows across frost-dusted grass, creating an almost sacred atmosphere. Sitting in reflective silence, they allowed the experiences of the day to settle into their consciousness, the quiet companionship reinforcing the bond they were cultivating. "I've realized something important," William said thoughtfully. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of simply showing up, even when it's difficult. Riran smiled, recognizing the truth in the observation. They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the subtle power of consistent presence, he replied. Plans for future Sundays emerged, exploring other neighborhoods, attending community events, visiting museums, and sharing activities that combine growth, learning, and connection. The emphasis remained on quality, ensuring each interaction contributed meaningfully to their relationship. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's exit, William's hand brushing against Riran's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. Same time next week? William asked, hope evident in his tone. Absolutely, Riran replied warmly. And perhaps we can add new routines, small adventures to make Sundays richer and more memorable. William chuckled, appreciating the suggestion. Consistency and adventure, a perfect combination. They parted ways, each returning to the familiar cadence of their individual lives, yet carrying with them the weight of shared experiences, laughter, and reflection that had defined the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet work of human connection, trust-building, and reconciliation. Back at home, Riran prepared a simple meal, allowing the act to anchor him in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, moments of honesty, laughter, and the comfort of routines imbued with intention. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he paused for introspection, aware of the challenges ahead yet hopeful about the possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of the next Sunday guided his thoughts, shaping routines, and reinforcing the value of intentional, consistent presence. As night deepened, Riran embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a sharp chill in the air, a reminder that winter had settled firmly into the city. Riran awoke with a quiet anticipation, his thoughts already tracing the familiar rhythms of preparation. He dressed in layered clothing, opting for the well-worn jacket that had accompanied him through countless Sundays, jeans softened by time, and sneakers scuffed from the many walks with William. Breakfast was modest yet comforting, the aroma of brewing coffee mingling with toasted bread lightly dusted with cinnamon sugar. He left his apartment early, moving through streets that were beginning to hum with subdued activity, shopkeepers opening doors, children in winter coats darting along sidewalks, and neighbors exchanging brief greetings that carried warmth and recognition. Approaching the park, the oak tree stood as a familiar and reassuring sentinel, its bare branches stretching toward the grey sky, a symbol of the ritual they had cultivated together. Riran arrived at the bench beneath it, scanning the winding paths for William, anticipation threading through every step and breath. When William appeared, his presence was steady and purposeful, the familiar gait bringing a wave of relief and excitement. "Morning, Riran," he greeted, voice warm, carrying the subtle enthusiasm that had become a hallmark of these Sundays. "Morning," Riran replied, smiling, reflecting the comfort and growing ease that had come to define their interactions. They began their walk through the park, moving with a rhythm developed over weeks of shared experiences. Conversation flowed effortlessly, alternating between casual observations of the city, reflections on daily life, and deeper discussions of responsibility, regret, and personal growth. William shared insights gained from the week, observations about human behavior, and the subtle lessons he had learned about presence, effort, and the importance of intentionality in relationships. Riran recounted moments from his week, small victories, and personal reflections on the significance of these Sundays, highlighting the growth of patience, understanding, and empathy that had taken root through repeated engagement. Their dialogue, layered and reflective, reinforced the delicate architecture of trust being built between them. Approaching the frozen pond, they observed children attempting to skate, laughing as they wobbled and stumbled. Riran joined in, guiding a young boy back to balance after a fall, while William watched, pride evident in his gaze, appreciating the tangible embodiment of growth, guidance, and shared experience. Afterward, they wandered into a secluded grove, sunlight breaking through gaps in the clouds, creating shifting patterns on frost-covered ground. Conversation deepened naturally, touching on themes of forgiveness, regret, and the subtle consequences of absence on personal and relational development. William admitted his lingering fears, the anxiety of whether he could repair the gaps caused by years of distance, and the persistent weight of guilt he had carried for decades. Riran responded candidly, acknowledging the impact of his father's absence, the longing for consistent presence, and the cautious optimism nurtured over weeks of Sunday meetings. Their dialogue, intimate and unguarded, acted as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but increasingly resilient bond between them. They discovered a small community garden tucked behind a row of buildings, its frost-laden soil and hardy plants reflecting endurance and quiet perseverance. William paused, gently tracing a stem. "This garden reminds me of our Sundays," he said thoughtfully. "Neglected at times, yet capable of growth if tended with care." Riran absorbed the metaphor, recognizing the essential role of deliberate attention, intention, and consistency in nurturing relationships fractured by time and distance. They lingered in the garden, discussing the importance of small gestures, patience, and gradual progress, realizing that ordinary actions, shared time, conversation, and engaged presence were the foundation of trust and connection. Leaving the garden, they headed to the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were setting up for an informal performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, laughter, and conversation created a rich tapestry of urban life infused with artistry. William suggested they pause and watch, and Riran agreed, appreciating the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy and understanding. The music began, a delicate blend of strings, piano, and subtle percussion, melodies resonating with the evolving emotional landscape of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Riran. "Moments like this make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to engage fully in the present." Riran nodded, understanding the depth of the sentiment. "It's about creating memories that sustain us now," he replied. "Memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon continued with a series of shared, seemingly ordinary but deeply meaningful experiences, observing performances, interacting with children, and exploring lesser-known paths that revealed hidden corners of the city. Each moment contributed to a growing narrative of connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, a symbol now of both stability and potential. Sunlight, softened by clouds, cast long shadows over the frost-dusted grass, creating an almost sacred atmosphere. They sat in reflective silence, letting the day's experiences settle, the quiet companionship reinforcing the bond they were nurturing. "I've realized something important," William said, voice contemplative. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of showing up, even when it's difficult." Riran smiled, recognizing the truth in the statement. "They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the quiet power of consistent presence," he replied. They discussed tentative plans for future Sundays, exploring new neighborhoods, attending community events, visiting museums, and engaging in activities combining growth, learning, and shared connection. Quality rather than quantity remained the guiding principle, ensuring each interaction deepened understanding and trust. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's edge, William's hand brushing Rerun's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, hope clear in his tone. "Absolutely," Rerun replied warmly. "And perhaps we can add small adventures, explorations to make Sundays richer." William chuckled softly, appreciating the idea. Consistency and adventure, a perfect combination. They parted ways, each returning to the familiar cadence of individual life, carrying with them the shared experiences, laughter, and reflections that had marked the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet work of human connection and reconciliation. Back home, Rerun prepared a simple meal, grounding himself in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, honest moments, laughter, and the comfort of intentional routines. Night fell, city lights sparkling like distant constellations, and he paused for introspection, aware of remaining challenges yet hopeful about possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of the next Sunday guided his thoughts, shaping routines, and reinforcing the value of intentional presence. As night deepened, Rerun embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a pale winter sun, diffused through the low-hanging clouds, casting the city in soft, muted tones that lent the streets an almost painterly quality. Rerun awoke with a familiar mixture of anticipation and a quiet nervousness, the rhythm of these Sundays now deeply ingrained in his consciousness. He dressed deliberately, layering a sweater under his worn jacket, jeans softened from repeated walks, and sneakers that had carried him across countless city streets. Breakfast was modest but comforting, coffee steaming beside lightly buttered toast sprinkled with a hint of cinnamon sugar, each detail grounding him in the ordinary yet sacred ritual of preparation. Stepping outside, the city welcomed him with subdued activity, shopkeepers opening their doors with quiet efficiency, children in winter coats zigzagging along sidewalks, and neighbors exchanging greetings that carried warmth and familiarity. Approaching the park, the oak tree came into view, its skeletal branches stretching skyward, a constant marker in the evolving landscape of his life. Rerun approached the bench beneath it, scanning the paths for William, anticipation threading through each step. When William appeared, his presence was steady and measured, the familiar gait bringing both relief and joy. "Morning, Rerun," he greeted, his voice warm, carrying a quiet enthusiasm that mirrored the feelings swirling within his son. "Morning," Rerun replied, a smile tugging at his lips, reflecting the growing comfort and ease that had emerged over weeks of shared Sundays. They began their walk through the park, their steps a rhythm that had become almost instinctual. Conversation flowed naturally, moving from casual observations of city life to reflections on the subtle nuances of human behavior, and deeper discussions on regret, forgiveness, and personal growth. William shared insights gleaned from the week, observations on the importance of presence and effort, and the subtle ways intentionality shaped meaningful relationships. Rerun recounted personal experiences, small victories, moments of self-doubt, and reflections on the impact of their Sundays on his own sense of patience, understanding, and empathy. Their dialogue, layered with reflection and emotional honesty, reinforced the delicate foundation of trust growing between them. Approaching the frozen pond, they watched children struggling to skate, laughter and occasional cries punctuating the crisp air. Rerun joined in, guiding a young boy back to balance after a stumble, while William observed with evident pride, recognizing the tangible embodiment of growth, guidance, and shared experience. Afterward, they wandered into a secluded grove, shafts of sunlight intermittently breaking through the clouds, casting long, shifting shadows across frost-dusted ground. Conversation deepened naturally, turning to themes of regret, reconciliation, and the subtle impact of absence on expectations and emotional well-being. William admitted lingering fears of inadequacy, anxiety over whether he could repair the gaps created by decades of distance, and the persistent weight of guilt he carried. Rerun responded candidly, acknowledging the impact of his father's absence, the longing for consistent engagement, and the tentative optimism cultivated through these weeks of Sundays together. Their dialogue, vulnerable and unguarded, acted as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but steadily strengthening bond between father and son. They discovered a small community garden tucked behind a row of buildings, frost-laden soil and hardy plants reflecting resilience and quiet endurance. William paused, tracing a resilient stem gently with his fingers. "This garden is like our Sundays," he said softly. "Neglected at times, yet still capable of growth if tended with care." Rerun absorbed the metaphor, recognizing the essential role of consistent attention, intention, and patience in nurturing relationships fractured by time and distance. They lingered, discussing the importance of small gestures, patience, and gradual progress. Ordinary acts, shared time, conversation, engaged presence, were the seeds from which trust and connection could flourish. Leaving the garden, they walked toward the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were preparing for an informal afternoon performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, laughter, and conversation created a rich urban tapestry infused with artistry. William suggested pausing to watch, and Rerun agreed, appreciating the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy and reinforce human connection. The music began, a delicate interplay of strings, piano, and subtle percussion, melodies resonating with the evolving emotional tenor of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Rerun. "Moments like this make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to participate fully in the present." Rerun nodded, understanding the depth of the sentiment. "It's about creating meaningful memories now," he replied. "Memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon continued with a series of shared experiences, observing performances, interacting with children, and exploring hidden paths that revealed previously unnoticed facets of the city. Each moment, seemingly ordinary, accumulated into a narrative rich with connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, a symbol now of both stability and potential. The muted sunlight filtered through the sparse branches, casting long shadows over frost-dusted grass, creating an atmosphere of quiet reflection. They sat in companionable silence, allowing the day's experiences to settle and the weight of shared presence to reinforce the bond they were nurturing. "I've realized something important," William said thoughtfully. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of showing up, even when it's difficult." Rerun smiled, acknowledging the truth in the statement. "They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the quiet power of consistent presence," he replied. They discussed tentative plans for future Sundays, visiting other neighborhoods, attending community events, exploring museums, and engaging in activities that combine learning, growth, and shared connection. Quality rather than quantity remained the guiding principle, ensuring that each interaction deepened understanding and trust. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed Rerun's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, hope evident in his tone. "Absolutely," Rerun replied warmly. And perhaps we can add new routines, small adventures to make Sundays richer. William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. Consistency and adventure, that's the perfect combination. They parted ways, returning to the familiar cadence of individual life, carrying the weight of shared experiences, laughter, and reflections that had marked the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet labor of human connection and reconciliation. Back home, Rerun prepared a simple meal, grounding himself in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, moments of honesty, laughter, and the comfort derived from intentional routines. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he paused for introspection, aware of challenges yet hopeful about possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of the next Sunday guided his thoughts, shaping routines, and reinforcing the value of consistent, intentional presence. As night deepened, Rerun embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the enduring power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with an unusual brightness, a pale sun cutting through the lingering winter clouds, casting the city in a soft golden light that seemed almost fragile against the grey backdrop of buildings. Rerun awoke with a quiet, persistent anticipation, a sense of rhythm now deeply embedded in the fabric of his life, his mind already moving through the familiar preparations. He dressed with care, jeans softened by weeks of walking, a sweater layered beneath his jacket, and scuffed sneakers that had borne him through countless Sundays alongside William. Breakfast was simple yet grounding, coffee steaming beside lightly buttered toast sprinkled with cinnamon sugar, each small detail reinforcing the comforting ritual he had come to cherish. The city streets hummed softly with subdued activity. Shopkeepers opened their doors with measured efficiency, children in heavy coats raced along sidewalks, and neighbors exchanged greetings that carried warmth and familiarity, small signs of life moving in its own rhythm. Approaching the park, Rerun felt a familiar stir of excitement, the oak tree looming ahead like an enduring sentinel. Its skeletal branches stretched upward, a reminder of continuity, resilience, and the growing significance of their Sunday ritual. Reaching the bench beneath it, he scanned the winding paths for William, anticipation threading through every step and breath. When William appeared, his presence was steady and measured, the familiar gait bringing both relief and joy. "Morning, Rerun," he called, voice warm and carrying the quiet enthusiasm that had come to define their Sundays. "Morning," Rerun replied, a smile tugging at his lips, reflecting the comfort and growing ease of their shared presence. They began their walk through the park, a rhythm of steps and dialogue that had become instinctive. Conversation flowed naturally, moving between casual observations of city life and deeper discussions about regret, forgiveness, and personal growth. William shared insights from his week, observations about human behavior, and reflections on the subtle power of consistent presence and intentionality in shaping meaningful relationships. Rerun recounted experiences from his own week, small victories, challenges overcome, and the evolving understanding of patience, empathy, and the value of engagement. Their dialogue, rich and layered, reinforced the delicate foundation of trust and understanding growing between them. Approaching the frozen pond, they watched children navigating the ice, laughter and occasional cries punctuating the crisp winter air. Rerun joined in, guiding a young boy back to balance after a stumble, while William observed with pride, recognizing the tangible manifestation of guidance, shared experience, and familial growth. Afterwards, They wandered into a secluded grove, shafts of sunlight intermittently breaking through clouds, casting intricate shadows over frost-covered ground. Conversation deepened naturally, turning to themes of reconciliation, the impact of absence, and the challenge of rebuilding trust. William admitted lingering fears of inadequacy, concern over whether he could repair the gaps caused by years of distance, and the enduring weight of guilt that had shadowed him for decades. Rerun responded with candid honesty, acknowledging the emotional consequences of his father's absence, the yearning for consistent engagement, and the cautious optimism nurtured through these weeks of Sunday encounters. Their dialogue, vulnerable and unguarded, acted as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but steadily strengthening bond between father and son. They discovered a small community garden tucked behind a row of buildings, its frost-covered soil and resilient plants emblematic of endurance and patient care. William paused, gently tracing a hardy stem. "This garden is like our Sundays," he said quietly. "Neglected at times, yet still capable of growth with care and attention." Rerun reflected on the analogy, recognizing the necessity of deliberate nurturing, consistent effort, and intentionality in restoring fractured relationships. They lingered, discussing the importance of small gestures, patience, and gradual progress. Ordinary acts, shared presence, conversation, and engagement served as the seeds from which trust and connection could flourish. Leaving the garden, they headed toward the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were setting up for an informal performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, chatter, and laughter created a rich urban tapestry infused with artistic expression. William suggested pausing to watch, and Rerun agreed, recognizing the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy and reinforce connection. The music began, a delicate intertwining of strings, piano, and subtle percussion, the melodies resonating with the emotional tenor of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Rerun. "These moments make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to participate fully in the present." Rerun nodded, feeling the weight of the sentiment. "It's about creating meaningful memories now," he replied. "Memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon unfolded with a series of shared experiences, observing performances, engaging with children at play, and exploring hidden paths that revealed unnoticed facets of the city. Each encounter, while seemingly ordinary, accumulated into a meaningful narrative of connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, a symbol now of both stability and potential. The soft sunlight filtered through bare branches, casting long shadows across frost-dusted grass, creating an atmosphere of quiet reflection. Sitting together, they allowed the day's experiences to settle, the silent companionship reinforcing the bond they were cultivating. "I've realized something important," William said thoughtfully. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of simply showing up, even when it's difficult." Rerun smiled, recognizing the truth. "They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the quiet power of consistent presence," he replied. Plans for future Sundays emerged, exploring other neighborhoods, attending community events, visiting museums, and participating in activities that combine learning, growth, and shared connection. Quality rather than quantity guided each choice, ensuring that every interaction deepened understanding and trust. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed Rerun's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, hope and commitment evident in his voice. "Absolutely," Rerun replied warmly. "And perhaps we can add small adventures, explorations that make Sundays richer." William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. Consistency and adventure, that's the perfect combination. They parted ways, returning to the familiar cadence of individual life, carrying the weight of shared experiences, laughter, and reflection that had marked the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet labor of human connection, reconciliation, and relational repair. Back home, Riran prepared a simple meal, grounding himself in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, moments of honesty, laughter, and the comfort of intentional routines. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he paused for introspection, aware of remaining challenges yet hopeful about the possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of the next Sunday guided his thoughts, shaping routines, and reinforcing the value of intentional, consistent presence. As night deepened, Riran embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the enduring power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a muted grey light, the winter air crisp and invigorating, carrying the faint scent of frost and distant chimneys. Riran awoke with the familiar stir of anticipation, the rhythm of these Sundays now deeply etched into his weekly life. He dressed carefully, jeans softened from repeated walks, a sweater layered beneath his jacket, and sneakers worn but comfortable, the footwear that had accompanied him through countless urban explorations with William. Breakfast was modest yet grounding, coffee steaming beside lightly buttered toast sprinkled with cinnamon sugar, each element reinforcing the comforting ritual of preparation. Stepping outside, the city hummed with subdued activity, shopkeepers opening doors, children darting along sidewalks in bulky winter coats, and neighbors exchanging brief greetings that carried warmth and recognition. Approaching the park, the oak tree stood as a familiar sentinel, its skeletal branches a testament to endurance, continuity, and the ritual they had cultivated together. Riran reached the bench beneath it, anticipation threading through every step, scanning the winding paths for the familiar figure of William. When William appeared, his presence was steady and measured, the gait both familiar and reassuring. "Morning, Riran," he called, voice warm and infused with subtle excitement. "Morning," Riran replied, smiling, the comfort and ease of their Sunday ritual evident in his tone. They began their walk through the park, a rhythm of steps and dialogue that had become instinctive. Conversation flowed naturally, alternating between casual observations of city life and deeper discussions of human behavior, responsibility, and personal growth. William shared insights from the week, reflections on the subtle power of consistent presence, and observations about the intentional effort required to nurture meaningful relationships. Riran recounted experiences from his week, small victories, moments of doubt, and reflections on the evolving understanding of patience, empathy, and the value of engagement. Their dialogue, rich and layered, reinforced the delicate foundation of trust and understanding developing between them. Approaching the frozen pond, they watched children attempting to skate, laughter and occasional cries punctuating the crisp air. Riran joined in, helping a young boy regain balance after a stumble, while William observed with pride, witnessing the tangible embodiment of growth, guidance, and shared experience. Afterwards, they wandered into a secluded grove, sunlight filtering through the clouds in scattered shafts, casting long shadows over frost-covered ground. Conversation deepened naturally, moving toward themes of forgiveness, regret, and the subtle consequences of absence on emotional development and expectation. William admitted lingering fears of inadequacy, anxiety over whether he could repair gaps caused by years of distance, and the persistent weight of guilt carried silently for decades. Riran responded with candid honesty, acknowledging the impact of his father's absence, the yearning for consistent engagement, and the tentative optimism nurtured over weeks of Sunday encounters. Their dialogue, intimate and unguarded, served as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but steadily strengthening bond between father and son. They discovered a small community garden hidden behind a row of buildings, its frost-laden soil and hardy plants emblematic of resilience and care. William paused, gently tracing a stem with his fingers. "This garden is like our Sundays," he said quietly. "Neglected at times, yet capable of growth if tended with attention." Riran reflected on the analogy, recognizing the necessity of deliberate effort, consistency, and intentionality in nurturing relationships fractured by time and distance. They lingered, discussing the importance of small gestures, patience, and gradual progress. Ordinary acts, shared time, conversation, and engaged presence were the seeds from which trust and connection could flourish. Leaving the garden, they headed toward the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were preparing for an informal performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, laughter, and conversation created a rich tapestry of urban life infused with artistic expression. William suggested pausing to watch, and Riran agreed, appreciating the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy and reinforce connection. The music began, a delicate interplay of strings, piano, and subtle percussion, melodies resonating with the evolving emotional tenor of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Riran. "These moments make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to participate fully in the present." Riran nodded, feeling the weight of the sentiment. "It's about creating meaningful memories now," he replied. "Memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon continued with a series of shared experiences, observing performances, engaging with children at play, and exploring hidden paths that revealed unnoticed facets of the city. Each moment, while seemingly ordinary, accumulated into a narrative rich with connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, a symbol of both stability and potential. Soft sunlight filtered through bare branches, casting long shadows over frost-dusted grass, creating an atmosphere of quiet reflection. Sitting together, they allowed the day's experiences to settle, the silent companionship reinforcing the bond they were nurturing. "I've realized something important," William said thoughtfully. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of simply showing up, even when it's difficult." Riran smiled, acknowledging the truth. "They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the quiet power of consistent presence," he replied. Plans for future Sundays emerged, visiting other neighborhoods, attending community events, exploring museums, and participating in activities that combine learning, growth, and shared connection. Quality rather than quantity remained the guiding principle, ensuring that each interaction deepened understanding and trust. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed Riran's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, hope evident in his tone. "Absolutely," Riran replied warmly. "And perhaps we can add small adventures, explorations to make Sundays richer." William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. Consistency and adventure, that's the perfect combination. They parted ways, returning to the familiar cadence of individual life, carrying the weight of shared experiences, laughter, and reflection that had marked the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet labor of human connection and reconciliation. Back home, Riran prepared a simple meal, grounding himself in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, moments of honesty, laughter, and the comfort derived from intentional routines. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he paused for introspection, aware of remaining challenges yet hopeful about the possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of the next Sunday guided his thoughts, shaping routines, and reinforcing the value of intentional, consistent presence. As night deepened, Riran embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of future Sundays, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the enduring power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. Sunday arrived with a pale, diffused light, the winter air crisp and invigorating, carrying a faint scent of frost and chimney smoke from distant buildings. Riran awoke with a quiet sense of anticipation, his mind already cycling through the familiar rituals that had come to define these Sundays. He dressed with deliberate care, jeans softened from repeated walks, a sweater layered beneath his jacket, and sneakers worn but reliable, the same footwear that had accompanied him through countless city streets alongside William. Breakfast was simple yet grounding, coffee steaming beside lightly buttered toast sprinkled with cinnamon sugar, each small detail reinforcing the comforting ritual of preparation. The city outside hummed with subdued activity, shopkeepers opening doors with careful efficiency, children in heavy coats zigzagging along sidewalks, and neighbors exchanging brief greetings that carried warmth and familiarity. Approaching the park, the oak tree loomed ahead, its skeletal branches reaching skyward, a steadfast sentinel in the evolving landscape of his life. Riran approached the bench beneath it, anticipation threading through every step, scanning the winding paths for William. When William appeared, his presence was steady and measured, the familiar gait bringing both relief and excitement. "Morning, Riran," he greeted, his voice warm, carrying subtle enthusiasm that had become a hallmark of their Sundays. "Morning," Riran replied, a smile tugging at his lips, reflecting the comfort and growing ease that had developed over weeks of shared time. They began their walk through the park, their steps a rhythm that had become almost instinctive. Conversation flowed naturally, moving from casual observations of city life to deeper discussions about responsibility, personal growth, and the delicate intricacies of human relationships. William shared insights from his week, reflections on the power of consistent presence, and observations about the subtle ways intention shapes meaningful connections. Riran recounted experiences from his own week, small victories, challenges overcome, and reflections on the significance of their Sundays in fostering patience, understanding, and empathy. Their dialogue, rich and layered, reinforced the delicate foundation of trust and emotional intimacy growing between them. Approaching the frozen pond, they observed children attempting to skate, laughter and occasional cries punctuating the crisp air. Riran joined in, guiding a young boy back to balance after a stumble, while William watched with evident pride, recognizing the tangible embodiment of guidance, shared experience, and familial growth. Afterwards, they wandered into a secluded grove, sunlight breaking intermittently through clouds, casting shifting patterns on frost-dusted ground. Conversation deepened naturally, turning toward themes of reconciliation, forgiveness, and the subtle consequences of absence on expectations and emotional development. William admitted lingering fears of inadequacy, concern over whether he could repair gaps created by years of distance, and the enduring weight of guilt that had shadowed him for decades. Riran responded candidly, acknowledging the impact of his father's absence, the yearning for consistent engagement, and the cautious optimism nurtured over weeks of Sunday encounters. Their dialogue, vulnerable and unguarded, served as a bridge spanning years of separation, reinforcing the fragile but steadily strengthening bond between father and son. They discovered a small community garden hidden behind a row of buildings, frost-laden soil and hardy plants emblematic of resilience and patient care. William paused, gently tracing a stem with his fingers. "This garden is like our Sundays," he said softly. "Neglected at times, yet capable of growth if tended with attention." Riran absorbed the metaphor, understanding the necessity of deliberate effort, consistency, and intentionality in nurturing relationships fractured by time and distance. They lingered, discussing the importance of small gestures, patience, and gradual progress. Ordinary acts, shared time, conversation, and engaged presence were the seeds from which trust and connection could flourish. Leaving the garden, they headed toward the park's central pavilion, where local musicians were preparing for an informal performance. The ambient sounds of tuning instruments, laughter, and chatter created a vibrant tapestry of urban life infused with artistic expression. William suggested pausing to watch, and Riran agreed, appreciating the significance of experiencing beauty together, sharing moments that deepen empathy and reinforce connection. The music began, a delicate interplay of strings, piano, and subtle percussion, melodies resonating with the evolving emotional tenor of their Sundays. William leaned slightly toward Riran. "Moments like this make me grateful for being here," he said softly. "Not to erase the past, but to participate fully in the present." Riran nodded, feeling the weight of the sentiment. "It's about creating meaningful memories now," he replied. "Memories that absence can no longer take away." The afternoon unfolded with a series of shared experiences, observing performances, interacting with children at play, and exploring hidden paths that revealed unnoticed corners of the city. Each moment, seemingly ordinary, accumulated into a narrative rich with connection, trust, and emotional intimacy. By late afternoon, they returned to the oak tree bench, a symbol now of both stability and potential. Soft sunlight filtered through the bare branches, casting intricate shadows across frost-dusted grass, creating an atmosphere of quiet reflection. Sitting together, they allowed the day's experiences to settle, the silent companionship reinforcing the bond they were nurturing. "I've realized something important," William said thoughtfully. "These Sundays teach me patience, humility, and the value of simply showing up, even when it's difficult." Riran smiled, recognizing the truth. "They teach me hope, forgiveness, and the quiet power of consistent presence," he replied. Plans for future Sundays emerged, exploring new neighborhoods, attending community events, visiting museums, and participating in activities that combine learning, growth, and shared connection. The emphasis remained on quality over quantity, ensuring each interaction deepened understanding and trust. As evening approached, they walked toward the park's edge. William's hand brushed Riran's shoulder in a gesture of reassurance and commitment. "Same time next week?" William asked, hope evident in his voice. "Absolutely," Riran replied warmly. "And perhaps we can add small adventures, explorations that make Sundays richer." William chuckled softly, appreciating the suggestion. Consistency and adventure, that's the perfect combination. They parted ways, returning to the familiar cadence of individual life, carrying the weight of shared experiences, laughter, and reflection that had marked the day. The city, while bustling and ordinary, seemed subtly transformed by the quiet labor of human connection and reconciliation. Back home, Riran prepared a simple meal, grounding himself in the present while reflecting on the nuances of the day, small victories, moments of honesty, laughter, and the comfort derived from intentional routines. Night fell, city lights twinkling like distant stars, and he paused for introspection, aware of remaining challenges yet hopeful about the possibilities. Sundays had become sacred rituals, opportunities to cultivate trust, nurture connection, and embrace the imperfect yet profound nature of family. The anticipation of future Sundays guided his thoughts, shaping routines and reinforcing the value of intentional, consistent presence. As night deepened, Rerun embraced the quiet warmth of progress, the reassurance of restored connection, and the promise of Sundays yet to come, each offering opportunities to nurture and solidify the fragile yet resilient bond between father and son. Life, like these Sundays, unfolded in deliberate increments, each moment a testament to the enduring power of presence, effort, and the human capacity for forgiveness, understanding, and the reclamation of love long delayed but never extinguished. With a final glance at the city lights from his window, Rerun felt a quiet satisfaction, knowing that the past, while unchangeable, could coexist with the present in a tapestry of hope, growth, and connection. The Sundays had become more than mere markers of time, they were lifelines, a steady thread weaving father and son together, a proof that absence, no matter how long, could not sever bonds rooted in care, presence, and love. And in that realization, Rerun understood that every moment, every shared word, and every small gesture mattered infinitely more than any measure of time lost, for they had created a living testament to the possibility of reconciliation and the enduring, fragile, and powerful nature of human connection.